want you to work for me. You can't do that if you're dead, now can you? I'm not growing a garden. But you killed my people, a whole damn lot of them, more than I'm comfortable with. And for that you're gonna pay. So now, I'm gonna beat the holy hell out of one of you. This is Lucille, and she is awesome. All this is just so we can pick out which one of you gets the honor. Huh. Well, I gotta shave this shit. You got one of our guns. Oh. Damn. You got a lot of our guns. Shit, kid. Lighten up. Please cry a little. Jesus, you look shitty. I should just put you out of your misery right now.
No!
Nope. Nope, get him back in line.
No. 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 Don't. Don't.
All right, listen. Don't any of you do that again. I will shut that shit down, no exceptions. First one's free. It's an emotional moment. I get it. Sucks, don't it? The moment you realize you don't know shit. It's your kid, right? This is definitely your kid.
Stop this!
Hey! Do not make me kill the little future serial killer. Don't make it easy on me. I gotta pick somebody. Everybody's at the table waiting for me to order.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Walker Report with the one true Walker himself, Cody Walker.
Yeah.
What's going on, brother?
Oh man, just loving it.
Yeah,
Loving it.
making life happen. So before we get into all this Walking Dead stuff, what do you think about the outcry that everybody's doing about this ending? Nobody knows who died. Nobody knows anything. If you guys, what we're talking about is the season 6 finale of The Walking Dead, when the Jeffrey Dean Morgan played Negan, and I thought he did a really good job.
Yeah.
And of course, other people were talking about some people were all like outcry, like, "Oh, why don't you just show who died?" And some people like me didn't really care. We'll just see it when it comes.
Right.
And some people are doing theories about it. We have audio that I played at the beginning of this show. So before I get into who I think he killed and stuff, let's just talk a little bit about the Negan character and how Cody thinks Jeffrey D. Morgan played him. So what did you think while you're watching it?
Yeah, I thought it was perfect because they did it just like the comics. It was almost like word for word.
It was
a bunch of F-bombs
and
stuff, but it was basically like straight from the comic, and I always love seeing some scenes straight from the comic brought to there. But I do like the way they got the jacket, and his costume is like perfect from the comics.
Yeah.
And I really liked it. I thought it was a really badass scene, and I kind of wish it would have been longer. I kind of wish he would have maybe more than one person killed someone off that I guess they kind of did with that one guy they hung from the thing, but
but just some random guy. Where do you think he came from? Just some random village, or did he come from the hilltop?
They called him the librarian. So
okay.
Maybe it's another group that he's the last of them. So who knows?
Yeah.
I guess we'll never know.
Because at first when I saw that guy, I thought he was just some guy from the hilltop. Because I had a figure that Negan knew that Rick's group was working with the hilltop, so maybe they captured somebody from the hilltop to be like, hey, we got this guy from the hilltop. Yeah. You got to give us your shit or we're going to kill him, and you can't even make it over there anyway. Because they knew the whole time that Rick's group was going to the hilltop, so they know the hilltop is in cahoots with them.
Yeah.
So I thought that card was kind of interesting when it comes to that. But like you said, they said it was some librarian guy, so I guess it was just a random group, but...
Yeah, it's in that whole how they just wrangled them into where they wanted them to is
Now that was a little different than the comic books. What do you think?
I thought that was really badass.
Yeah, just kind of like the cat and mouse kind of game. They didn't do that in the comic books really, because the comic books they just got stopped randomly on the road.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere. I think they were going to go to sleep or they woke up or something, and then they were just there.
Yeah.
So this one actually made a lot of sense with Maggie having some birth problems.
Yeah.
I don't remember her having that in the comic. I don't think so. But didn't she have a baby though?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But I just read the number 1 right before it too. I was so psyched for it, but I'm not really positive.
Yeah, I think that was new.
Exactly.
She having actual birth problems and stuff. And I like the cat and mouse game. So
I especially like the when they hung the guy and then had the log wall. When you knew that's when I started to know, okay, when you first saw him on the road and they had the guy, and then that's why I also, you just think maybe they got lucky and just were waiting or whatever.
Yeah.
But then they put the X on the guy, and I'm like, what the hell are they doing that for?
Yeah.
And then they find another route, and then they run into a bigger group, so they just back up and leave that one.
Yeah, and it shows you the size of that savior group too.
Yeah.
That
and
they you definitely
vehicles they have.
Yeah, because they have a big. Well, we are going to get into what our thoughts are for season 7, because I think it's going to be the best season of The Walking Dead, because so far it was the best arc in the comic book.
Yeah.
So far, so going back into some of the Negan things, when we played some of the audio at the beginning. We kind of slowed it down a little bit, and I'll just tell Cody, basically what it sounds like to me is the biggest thing you can hear of the audio if you listen to it a couple times is you can hear Maggie scream. Mm-hmm. So, and the creators said they didn't really give a lot away, but there are some hints of who died. So my original prediction on last show was Daryl,
Yeah.
And the reason I said it was Daryl because Daryl is coming out with like a shit ton of shows now. Like he's some like random bike. He's in some show that he just drives motorcycles.
Right.
What the hell is that? And I'm just like, this is a show,
awesome gig.
and it's on AMC.
Yeah, it's an awesome gig.
I know exactly. And then I heard I haven't heard too much about it, but I did hear they're making a Boondock Saints TV show.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought like, okay, this guy's just like he's gonna die. He's just
stuff, yeah.
I was gonna do all that, but it is
He's
possible.
Not, and he's like he's the one true person in there that really has nothing like.
That's all new.
Here's like there's nothing taken away from the story at all because he doesn't exist in the comics.
Exactly. So and there's a couple other people like that too. Yeah. Obviously Morgan is like that. Yeah. Carol's like that. That's all new.
Yeah.
Abraham.
Yeah.
He could have barely been the guy.
There's a lot of people right now that are expendable to the story. So.
Yeah.
But I still firmly believe they went with the comics.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, by slowing everything down, listening to everything, I could see that.
If you look at the angle, because that's what they said the most. Like I watched the Talking Dead afterwards, and Kirkman was like, they showed the angle like so you can kind of just guess, and Daryl was completely on the whole other end of the RV, like on the rear, towards the rear of it, not towards the front. So, and there's been some speculation that it might be because Aaron was over there too.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's gonna be him, just because he seems to be the only reoccurring character from Alexandria.
Yeah, exactly. This is so weird. It's like everybody. Like just skipping to some of the comic talk, it's like everybody from Alexander like doesn't exist except for him. Yeah. It's like so weird.
Yeah, so I don't think it's gonna be him because he's the only person from he's the only Alexandrian.
But then again, that can always change. You never know what the show. They like to spice things up.
Because everyone else that's like held back. I mean, there was Denise, but now she's dead. There was a couple other people, I can't remember her name, but she looks after all the food and like the supply room.
Was it Sasha and Rosita were there?
Yeah.
Rosita could be one too. Because we talked about that last time about how she died, but that comes later on.
Yeah, that's. I mean, yeah, I think they have to keep that one to further enrage the audience for the next bads coming up.
Yeah, that's true. Negan. So a couple things. I was gonna tell basically with the scene, like me and you are in agreement. It's probably Glenn. So, that's our agreement. So we'll see what happens with that. Another thing too, which is kind of exciting. I'm gonna give my thoughts really quickly on how I thought Jeffrey D. Morgan did. I thought he did really well too. There's actually this video I watched where it's like you can hear his dialogue and they mixed it with the comics, and you could tell like where they cut out the F words. So that part was kind of funny. And then just going back on the Negan character, like this scene is a lot different than how Negan really is. He's a little bit more. I always compare him. He's like the Joker of the Walking Dead series, because he's very charismatic, funny, but he's also very deadly when he wants to be.
Oh yeah.
And he always says the most random stuff. Like my favorite line from Negan is that probably will happen in season 7. I'm just gonna give you guys a spoiler because this might happen on the show, but it does happen in the comic book. Is when he attacks Alexandria and he throws the grenades everywhere, and he tells this guy about, and one of his saviors and stuff is like, "Is your dick hard?" and he's like, "Mine is right now for this." And then the savior guy goes, "Yes, my dick's so hard right now." And then Negan just looks at him like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" So he just says like weird shit like that, and then and then also too when he meets Carl with his eye, that's also a really cool scene because he's just going crazy about it, like joking and stuff. And I didn't get a lot of the like humorous side of Negan from the Jeffrey D. Morgan, but hey, that's mostly for season 7, so I'll keep it open.
Yeah, I thought they were trying to show him as definitely making him very likable.
Yeah.
At the beginning, but people don't really. A lot of people, obviously, if you don't read the comics, you don't know how deadly.
Yeah,
and it is at this point.
Yeah, and then doing some of the comic when it comes to like what's coming up next, season 7. I mean, they're just like I was saying before. I think it's gonna be the best season because there's so many stories they can go into. Obviously with Morgan and Carol, they're obviously at the Kingdom right now. That's where they're going. Yeah. and Rick's group's gonna meet up with the Kingdom, thanks to Jesus. I'm pretty sure that's gonna happen. And then one of the scenes I'm waiting for that I think is a very powerful scene in the comic books and kind of like tells the story is when they get back to Alexandria, Rick and all the surviving groups, and they're kind of like figuring out like, okay, what's our next plan of action? And then boom, automatically Negan just shows up at the door. They're like, hey, I'm here. And they just caught him off guard and caught everybody off guard. And he just walking through the town like he owns the fucking place. Goes into people's houses, just hangs out. And it just pisses everybody off the whole time he's there, and he just takes their shit and leave. And that's when Carl gets into the truck and stuff. So, like I said, there's gonna be major spoilers over here. I told you guys, everybody, but we'll see. They always change it up in the series.
Yeah, that's what I was also wondering too, because he in the.
But I think they'll keep
Dead,
those scenes.
Yeah, in the Talking Dead, they talked about how the next season is gonna be basically like the next story is them coping with what happened. So
yeah,
season 7 might be really intense, or it also might. I'm fearing it's gonna be those 15 issues, or those 14 issues between 100 and when all.
That's true because, like, I was given.
So I have a feeling it's probably gonna be like a season 2.
Yeah,
but
it depends what they do because Walking Dead does have this thing where they like to drown out the scenes.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I call it like the slow but steady storytelling.
Yeah.
Where they show a lot of the environment. They show a lot of people looking at each other. They show a lot of people looking at different things. They show a lot of scenery shots. Mm-hmm. And it kind of wastes some time. Now the comic book just gets right into it because you have to. That's the way the comics are. So they go a lot faster and there's a lot more action. But, you know, what the TV show does, they actually explore a little bit more stuff because my thing with this whole season 6, unlike the comic where Negan kind of just like shows up a little bit because Rick killed some of his group, now in the show, Rick killed a lot more of the group than they did. And they actually kind of deserved it. I mean, they killed people in their sleep, which was crazy to me. That episode where they break into one of the Savior's little complex or whatever, it basically was the Hilltops version of that's where they get the food at and stuff because Negan owns the whole place. And I can't wait to see his hideout because you know that's going to be fucking badass on TV looking. Oh, yeah. So my thing is they just go in there, they just murder everybody off the spot and everything, and that never happens in the comics and stuff. Yeah. So this time when it comes back around, just like kind of like they deserve it a little bit.
Yeah, like that when they're looking for the head for the Walker head to replace Gregory's head.
Yeah.
And that one guy from the Hilltops like, Saviors are scary, but they got nothing on you. And I was like. Yeah, they kind of make it that way because they just about to go kill a bunch of people in their sleep. Yeah. So it's kind of like fighting fire with fire. So it's gonna be very interesting in the season 7. On the TV show is a lot darker and more intense, and can be easily viewed as the villain if you're on the other side of any of these people.
Exactly.
I mean, like if you're on one of the Saviors, you just especially on the TV show right now. These people snuck in and killed a bunch of your people while they were sleeping. They killed a couple other people, followed them down. They've been just like they RPG'd some people in the street. I mean, they've been killing people left and right. So
and that's the way Rick. That's the way Rick is like in this comic book. Like he's basically just like we'll kill anybody to be what we need to be. But the kind of a difference was. Since we're doing some like compare contrast to how the comic book was, Rick kind of calmed down in the comic book after he had that huge fight with the zombies. Mm-hmm. So unlike the TV show where he got like a little bit more aggressive about killing people and killing different things when the zombie fight happened, to me the Rick character kind of came into a little bit more of the Morgan character where he was like, we'll take care of business, but we're not going to go like on these like fucking sniper hunts and stuff going on because they did the same thing. They went to the hilltop and they promised to take care of Negan and everything, but just by going at it they showed like a different light on the TV show was like obviously a lot more darker. So I thought that was really really neat. One thing I want to point out too with the season 6, one of my favorite scenes was the second episode where the wolves attacked. I thought that was really creative. A lot better. More action than it even was in the comic book. Because in the comic book, they just show up the door and be like, hey, we're here, brother. Let me in. And then they get sniped off like it's so easy. So they just run away. This time, there's like more storytelling where they break in or killing people.
Oh yeah.
Carol goes there. She's like fucking just so fucking. She reminded me of like Deathstroke or something, just coming in there and destroying.
Like I forgot the crazy contrast between Carol and the story and Carol and the comic.
It's so much different. It's just like because she was like, what is she? Some lesbian?
No, she's just like some like really floozy horror kind of chick that was just like, oh, this guy's now single because his wife just died. Oh, I'm gonna try and bang him.
Yeah, exactly. She just kept going from character to character.
Yeah,
and it's so much different. It's so much better on the TV show.
She's like a fucking wasteland warrior now.
Yeah, what'd you think about that when she left and she killed the saviors from her gun out of her pockets? That shot, I was like, yes, that was pretty sweet.
That was really awesome, but I think she definitely should have checked better and finished the job.
Yeah, well, at the time she didn't want to kill anybody anymore.
Yeah, but that's the kind of thing. Like I'm trying to figure out what they're gonna do with Carol because she obviously can kill and has killed a lot of people, but it seems like with that notebook she was taking like a kill
list and stuff because she's feeling guilty about it.
So she's I guess they've been moving so fast and having to live so quickly and go from place to place and all this shit keeps happening that I guess she never really had time to sit down and deal with all the guilt, I guess, that she's...
Yeah, and now she had because she was in Alexander and has some guy humping her.
Yeah, and then she's like, I don't want to kill for people anymore, but if she goes out and she doesn't want to... It seems to me like, I guess she's looking to die, but I don't know why then on the road she killed those guys. If she doesn't want to kill, like, I don't really understand what they're trying to do with that. But
I think she's just confused right now. I think that's what we're trying to look at her as, in like, she wants to die, but she's afraid to die, but she doesn't want to kill. So what I think was, since she's injured right now, she's going to go to the kingdom, and maybe the people at the kingdom will kind of like set her straight, and Morgan will set her straight, basically saying, you don't need to kill, but you do need to protect yourself. Because look at Morgan. He's like, I don't kill, and he killed that guy to protect Carol. So I think she's gonna finally realize, like, I'm not just gonna go kill random, but if I need to protect myself and my group, that's what I'll do. And I think that's how her character's gonna build that way. Yeah. By the way, do you think we're gonna have the tiger in season 7?
I was just gonna say, like, that might make if they decide to go like the little slow character building route for season 7, that would make for a lot more interesting.
That'd be like a mid-season finale, type of deal. Showing him and his tiger.
Yeah, I
just want to know how they do it, because they could do it like they could film a real tiger, but the tiger in the comics, he actually attacks zombies and stuff. Yeah. So you would have to make that CGI. I don't know what stunt guy you're gonna get to go play up to the Walker and get attacked by a fucking tiger. So that'd be fucking crazy.
Like the highest paid extra of all time.
Yeah, exactly. So that's gonna be very interesting when that comes up. Like I said before, season 7 is gonna be really neat.
Might just give him a different badass pet.
Yeah.
I think that's one of like the main, like, it's almost a characteristic of that character.
Yeah.
Him having
the
tiger.
Yeah. I mean, it just has to happen. Like,
he has to have something.
Yeah, and we know the kingdom's in there. We've seen 2 of those guys, so we know they're gonna keep. You know, they could change it if they want to, but we know we're going to keep that kingdom.
They're going to need the kingdom.
Yeah, that's a big story.
Negan's people.
Exactly.
So that's necessary. So
yeah,
that could be what 7 is. I don't know. I want it to be as intense as season 6 was, especially the second half. But I feel like with them just now meeting Negan, and it's going to be those. We might have that part where like Negan just like randomly shows, like, obviously Negan's going to be in the 7th season, so there's going to be some people dying, but
he'll be there quite a bit, not every episode, but I pretty much guarantee he's going to go there and come into the Alexander, look around, take their stuff, and that's when Carl sneaks in to the truck, and then he tries to kill guys, and then Negan and Carl have that big scene. I'm pretty sure they're going to add all that into season 7, because those are that's like a definitely the way to go.
That's badass part.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that'll be kind of like the first half of season 6, and then they can, stop with the kingdom, and then from there the kingdom. I don't know. They might do this whole arc. It's a long arc, even for a comic book.
Yeah,
so it might be 2 seasons on this thing. I don't know. Unless they speed things up, but Walking Dead's not used to speeding things up.
They slow things down like a motherfucker.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some more deaths. That there wasn't really, because there's a lot of people.
They gotta build up the more Negan hate.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot he could do and stuff. And what I'm looking for mostly out of the Negan character, like a lot of people might, is just I want to see the humor of the guy, because he has great humor. Now, I know they can't say fuck. That's fine. Which is, I wanted to talk to you about that. Don't you find it weird that American TV, we can have people like fucking blood and guts everywhere, killing people in their sleep, murder, fucking, you know, the governor trying to rape Maggie in the other room while the fucking guy's getting attacked by a zombie. They can say shit on TV and stuff. But the two things that people freak out the most was Aaron, the gay guy, for some reason, saying like, why did you introduce a gay character to Walking Dead, which is ridiculous, and the word fuck. You're telling me that a word is more crazy than some guy sticking a knife in some dude's head? Or like people just shooting people point blank, or they're burning themselves on fire? That's just so weird to me.
Yeah, definitely. We and one of the Short Bus Army, we talked about the power of words and stuff, so we kind of got into that. But yeah, I definitely feel you on that. It's the OJ show, some motherfucker.
Oh really? And that's on on TV, right?
FX, yeah.
Wow.
So
some places can do it.
Well, you get like you can do it, but you get fined. Like,
yeah, unless you're like HBO or Showtime or whatever.
If you want to, like, if you're basic cable and you say like that word, they'll fine you a certain amount of money.
Yeah, I know AMC ain't losing.
Yeah, and some
Walking
people
Dead
are I mean, they're willing to do it. Obviously, the O.J. Simpson show was willing to pay.
Do you think they got fined on Walking Dead for saying shit?
No, because they said shit a lot on Breaking Bad too. I don't know if they did, but these shows are making them so much money. And
yeah, they don't really care.
It doesn't matter.
So
they could actually probably have Negan the way he's supposed to and take every fine and still be perfect.
That's a lot of fucks though. I mean, he says them a lot, but
I mean, they can take a little bit out. I mean, he doesn't have to have those.
I don't think he's gonna say it at all.
Those outbursts where he can just go fuckity. Fucker, just fucking fucker.
The outburst maybe, but in the dialogue, I think they're gonna kill it.
No, that's the one thing. Like I was thinking, like they might do it sometimes just for like the inflection, because sometimes like if you add fucking to something, it's just some of the stuff he says, it just makes it that much funnier. That's why it's so funny. But I didn't think any of the opening scene and the opening dialogue where they obviously they skipped a bunch of the dialogue and a bunch of F words, and I don't think it really hurt the scene at all.
No, I didn't think it did either.
Like that part was his interest was so awesome. Like obviously it's like, you don't know any idea how not cool that shit is.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty sweet.
And he like just said it like so nonchalant, like kind of don't really care, but I'm gonna kill one.
So what do you think about his appearance? I mean, he looks spot on to the way he did in the comic books, except for like some minor details.
The beards is different.
He's buff. He's not as buff.
But that's what. He doesn't seem that way. He's pretty. Jeffrey Dean looks pretty skinny, but I don't think he'll be able to pull off someone looking that buff in the waist.
Yeah.
The wasteland nowadays.
What do you think if they would have got Henry Rollins? Because that's where he's originally designed from.
Yeah.
That would be something.
Yeah, that's pretty badass. But I think he's spot on, and I do like the one thing that he says that's obviously different from the comic, because it's definitely something for one of people that read the comics, because he was when Abraham kind of stands up to him and sees his like Fu Manchu mustache, and then Negan's like, God, I gotta shave this shit. So he's probably gonna shave it for next year, so he looks a lot more like Negan.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, or that was just an Easter egg for some comic people, and they're gonna keep him with the beard, because I think he looks badass with the beard. Obviously.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, that was new too, because the normal one you can shave him with like some fucking gelled slip back 50s hair.
He still had the slick back hair, that was perfect.
Yeah.
The jacket.
The one glove.
The scarf under it, the glove. LUCILLE.
He's a really good character. Like, this is like one of the top villains that I think is going to be, and if you ever do any kind of top villains list in comic books or television, he's definitely going to be up there.
Oh yeah.
So some exciting news that not a lot of people know, but I'm going to break it on here because I know everything. Apparently on the season 6 DVD Blu-ray of Walking Dead, they're going to have an uncut version of the final scene.
Yeah.
that they originally were going to play on air, but they were like, we might get in trouble for this, but it's going to be on that DVD. So look out for that. I think it's just going to be when he says hell, it's just going to be fuck. Like they're not going to show anything like who dies or anything. They're just going to add in the naughty, the fuck, the naughty fuck word. Yeah, we could have people getting slaughtered, heads chopped off. You know, fuck, that's fine. Hey, if somebody can get their fucking cock bitten, no problem. But we can't say fucking fuck on the air, brother. All right,
bitch nuts.
Yeah, you can say on bitch nuts. You can't say that. Do you think they keep Abraham around just for like the fucking comedy? I think they do.
I do, yes.
Because I think he got over big. Because in the comic book, he didn't ever say any kind of funny shit like that. Like maybe once in a while.
He kind of did, like.
But not like this.
He didn't get. I mean, obviously, you get more screen time and more, just time to showcase the character in a TV show.
Yeah.
Than you do in a short comic book.
I was kind of surprised that they got Denise with the arrow instead of Abraham. I was so like when we watched that episode, I was like, this guy's dead. Like I was just in my mind like that way.
I was like, it's coming. But
yeah.
I don't know. Like them. I think them. Well, also obviously with the last episode where they, instead of being able to take Maggie to Denise, they had to run her to the doctor at the hilltop.
Yeah.
So obviously they had to that worked out.
Yeah. That makes sense.
That worked out for their story.
Which I think is kind of crazy. Like, you know, a character we barely see, but he's like he was like there prominent in the comic books is Heath. Yeah. Like the guy, because Heath was actually one of the guys in the lineup at the beginning of the comic books to be smashed, and he's not around anywhere.
That's true.
I think because the actor that plays Heath was at the time he was filming some movies. I think because he was in Straight Outta Compton. I think he played Dr. Dre or something. I don't remember which character he played, but I think that's why. I think in season 7 we'll see more of the Heath character because
That's probably why Aaron was at the lineup rather than Heath.
Exactly. So mostly Heath is like the guy, and like I remember in the comic books, like he was like everywhere, and he was like a guy that went along with Glenn a lot to do a lot of the scavenging to find food and everything. Yeah. So and there's a bunch of scenes come on later that you can see, especially in the season 7 when. I'm pretty sure Negan's going to bomb the fuck out of Alexandria because that's actually one of the coolest scenes in the comic books. And everybody's scratching. And Heath was a big guy there to kind of help everybody out.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what sets off the whole war.
The war thing. So that might be the end of season 7. And then we get into season 8 with the war. Could happen.
That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. Cause I think just the way the Walking Dead show goes, I think they're going to spend a lot of just time being really dramatic.
Yeah.
And just drowning out and dragging on the death and the
there's gonna be that first episode
and the depression and just
that first episode of season 7. We're gonna see a shocking scene, and then it's just gonna be slow from there. It's just gonna be very slow. I could tell already, just the way they film things and the way they drag it on. Yeah, I was really surprised though in this season 6. To get back to it was just like the second episode or whatever, the wolves attacked, like it was just out of nowhere. So I was really surprised about that.
It's definitely the best.
So that was definitely, exactly. It was definitely different than how the shows did.
It's gotten better every year, but I think I just, it keeps coming back to it, like, especially the second half of 6, when they started going more canon with the comic book. Yeah. And then that's when the show just got fucking awesome. It
did, especially when they added that scene with Dwight and Eugene. Yeah, I didn't think they were gonna do that, and they fucking did it perfect. It was like spot on.
Yeah, it's like, what a coincidence that they start following the comic. And that's when the shit gets good.
Exactly, like the whole bullet thing. Like they had to do that because that's such a great idea, you know, and it just like, I don't know, it's something, you know, a lot of people don't read the comic. You know, they'll think it's going to spoil everything. Honestly, like, me and obviously Cody's been reading this comic a lot more than I have. Like, when did you start The Walking Dead reading it? Because I know you start
back in high school, kind of when it started. That's why I'm so pissed I got rid of some of my issues.
Yeah, exactly. So you started like at the very beginning. Yeah. And I didn't even know about the show until like a couple years ago. Then you got me onto the comic and stuff. And then I started reading it, and it just, I don't feel like it's spoiling anything. It's just like a guideline for how the show goes, and it actually has some different storylines that they miss in the show that you can't see, and they do it in the comic book. Like one of my favorite scenes, for going back a little bit, was with what was that guy's name? he played. It was the big black dude.
Tyrese.
He had like a daughter and then that son, remember? And then that kid that like loved his daughter. And their whole thing was they were trying to hide from Tyrese to be in the afterlife together.
Right.
And they did that. And then the guy shoot the girl. And he's like, what the fuck did I do? And stuff. And Tyrese went there and beat his ass and shit. I was like, whoa, that's an intense scene. You could never do that on there because it was like suicide love going on there. So if people think like, oh, I don't want to read a comic because it's like what little kids do and, you know, some, you know, dorks and whatever. This comic book is not for little kids. Like, there's some shit on here. It's just
like
the governor scene with Michonne was way crazier in the comic book than it was. Oh my God.
That was so crazy. I showed my dad. I was like,
yeah.
So she did this, and then she did this,
and
then she did this, and then she did this. And I was just like.
And also, too, with her getting, you know, treated very badly. Let's just say that. I mean, it's just different. So comparing the contrast, it's like not everything's going to show up. Like, you're not going to spoil anything. You're finding, like, I call it like a different universe of how it goes. Yeah. And one of the things I want to bring up, too, a little bit that we might get, like how Rick is. Because Rick in the comic books, after this couple seasons, you think we're gonna see like an older Rick, kind of like Herschel? Because in the comic books now, he's kind of like an old guy that's all beat up and shit because he's gone through so much shit. Yeah, you think they're ever gonna portray that in the show?
Not for a while, I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think that 2-year jump that happened in the comics is gonna happen in the show.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna try and get as much out of Andrew Lincoln and Rick as they can.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was gonna bring up too. Like one of the main differences, like in the comic, he loses his arm like very early.
Yeah, by the governor.
And Kirkman has always been like that was one of the biggest mistakes. He has to go through so many obstacles to still make Rick a badass.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that eventually happens.
Is that why they made him a hand?
Yeah, like maybe like eventually that happens, and that's when he becomes like the older figure, like he is now in the comics.
Yeah.
Not really that older, because I mean it was only a 2-year time jump, but he just looks older.
He just looks beat the shit up.
He has no hand, and he's been stabbed so many damn times that he has a cane and shit. But he's still a badass.
Yeah. He still gets the job done. And we'll talk about that here in a second.
He's still whooping people's ass and stuff, but I don't think that 2-year jump will probably happen in the comics.
Yeah.
There's too much.
They'll drown it out to make different.
They'll since there's so many different characters. I mean, they can, if Daryl's still around after that, which I'm sure he will be.
I don't know, man. I mean, the guys are just, if he doesn't die at the beginning of this, he's gonna die either in this season or next. I just feel the guy. Okay, the thing about Daryl, he has such a big fan base that it's hard to keep somebody like that on a show when another show will pay for you more.
Right.
You know what I mean? And obviously, you know, Walking Dead has some money and everything, but there is a cap to a limit.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I think Norman Reedus really likes doing The Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure he does. I mean, this show reverted his.
If he's not, he's gonna be a victim of one of the big bads, just because he's such a beloved character, and for you to start to hate the big bad characters, someone important has died. That's why, you know, Negan comes on. As soon as Negan shows up, Glenn.
Yeah.
And then like the Whisperers show up and they killed like 14 people right off the bat.
Yeah, like, right off the bat. That's just crazy.
Like, boom.
And we'll get into that here in a little bit.
But they're gonna have to save a lot of people for that part.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have to save people for what's coming up in the comic that we don't even know about yet.
Yeah.
Some real shit's about to go down.
That's true. And I have a theory about that too. We're gonna talk about. But before we get into that, though, I just want to give you guys some news. I think this is really cool news. I just recently saw a picture of this. Apparently, there's gonna be a new a new magazine out there, Image magazine, and they're actually gonna have the Negan backstory. It's called He's Negan. That's what it's called, and it's gonna be 48 pages. So whatever, you know, they'll
basically
do like a couple
one shot.
Yeah, a one shot. Basically, it's going to be in the Image magazine. So if you want to see the story first and foremost, go out there and get the magazine. It's going to be in a couple of their issues, but then after that, after they said they're done, then they're going to release it into its own one shot comic book. So they want to see how it does in the magazine first and see if the story is all cool. But you know, the only backstory in the comic we already know about is Negan said one time that he used to be a car salesman. I think he said that in one of the scenes. But then again, he says a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things he says that you can't really believe, but whatever. Maybe he just says he has the attitude of a car sales because he can bring people together. But we'll see.
Who knows?
But the only scene.
I really hope he ends up being like a cart guy at Target.
Yeah, exactly. Just some random dude that just shows up and it's like, shit's on.
Like, someone left a bat and like the world started ending and he's pushing a bunch of carts and someone left a baseball bat in a shopping cart. So he just.
It's like, oh, baseball bat, barbed wire.
And some barbed wire like sitting on the ground next to him and he's just, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
It just becomes the Negan.
Yeah, exactly. So that should be very interesting. Everybody check that out. We're going to be talking about that probably next time we do this show because it'll probably be, hopefully it's released by then. I think it's getting released pretty soon in June. So we'll probably know it by the time, because we're going to do another show after this after we watch the full season of Fear the Walking Dead Season 2, which we're going to get into right now.
Starts Sunday. I like to say no rest for the Walking Dead fans.
Exactly. Just go right into it. Right. So what do you think about this Fear the Walking Dead story so far? And where do you think it's going to go after just seeing previews and seeing the first? Because this is all new. Like, we don't have any guide for this at all. They can go anywhere they want.
Yeah, this is where they get to have their fun.
Now, I thought the first season was kind of slow for a couple episodes. Like, very slow. And that fucking dude, the fucking, I don't know his name. The guy, the fucking junkie kid, was like the most annoying character I've seen on television in a long time.
I have this bad feeling that he's going to be around a long time.
Yeah, exactly. He might be like the guy that just survived, which is kind of ridiculous in a way because, I mean,
he's going to be like,
I don't know. There's so much weird things if you really think about it that happens on the show that you kind of have to disbelieve sometimes. Mm-hmm. My thing with The Walking Dead in this universe, they do a very, very, very good job of making everything look realistic. Mm-hmm. But the problem is, like, if this really, really did happen, like, disease would be everywhere. I mean, human beings are not supposed to be around dead carcasses. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then, medical stuff out there. When we plant trees, we do all this stuff to kind of help out our immune system sometimes. And go get checked up by the doctor and stuff. And, they even did that out there in the olden times. Right. But also, too, in the olden times, people died quicker because there wasn't medical advancement. When all that medical advancement goes away, we go back to how the olden times were. And that's why in the olden times, a lot of people didn't even live until they were 30 because there'd be like a mass fucking disease out there. It seems like in this show, the only disease that happened was that time in the jail cell where some guy got a flu or something, and that was it.
Yeah, and that started killing everybody.
Yeah, to me, there'd be a lot more disease out there for humans to, because humans are, you can't eat a bunch of like stale shit all the time and I'm fine. I'm gonna go fight me some people. No problem. I'm all buffed up. So sometimes you gotta like get at the beginning. Yes, I fear. Yes, but then where Rick's group is now.
We're like in Fear the Walking Dead. I can see that. Yeah, but like where the Walking Dead is, I'm sure they're. I mean, they know that everyone's infected with something.
Yeah.
They still don't know.
But they don't. What about like? Is there no Ebola in Walking Dead?
Like I don't know. Well, that's
like animals when there's animals carcasses dying on the road. I'm pretty sure that smell and that disease can get inside a human and can get you sick. That's the only thing that's on. Stuff like that.
That could be another thing that they'll end up bringing up at some point. But.
Yeah, but maybe everybody's immune system just went how the world went. That's how they went. Maybe because they are affected with maybe it could be that maybe because they are affected with the Walker thing, that all other diseases don't matter.
Yeah.
It could be something like that too. So there's different ways you can explain it.
It could be like a super virus that like it's like, no, I'm gonna kill this human being.
Because they still haven't said where it came from, what it is, who did it.
Nope.
It just happened. Shit just happened. Even in Fear the Walking Dead, shit just hit the fan.
That's like the thing I'm like wondering, like in The Walking Dead, like when are they gonna bring out like
I think it's gonna be a while.
Like, even if they figure out what caused it,
it doesn't matter.
They still have to. Yeah, it really doesn't matter. They still have to find people that can cure it or find. Well, this cure it. So it's not like it matters because they could bring out the cause of it like next issue. Doesn't matter. They still have to figure.
There's no cure, and they know that now. Especially for where we're at in the comic book. they're not even thinking about no cure. They just think about how to survive.
There's no way to get the cure to if they make one. There's no way to get the cure
Yeah.
to enough people to affect anything.
And there's people are mostly dying. It's been like so many years. It's like the cure would be almost useless.
Yeah. So
Don't you ever wonder though when you're reading the comic and the show? It's like, what's going on right now in Australia?
Right.
You know, or what Japan?
Yeah.
You know, or stuff like that.
That's why I think they did with Fear the Walking Dead. They might even do
explain more of that.
spin-offs of that too. But since going back to what we were talking about, the Fear the Walking Dead, it looks like from the previews that they're going to follow right after season 1. They're going to try to get to that yacht, obviously, and try and I guess survive out on the water.
Yeah.
Which
we've seen a little bit of that in the comic books.
Yeah,
it's different.
A little bit, but I just think, I mean, they can't be out on the water that long. Or just gonna get too boring.
Yeah, or there's no food supply out there, or the stuff doesn't work. You know, so eventually they'll get back on land and have to go through different. I'm curious to see where they end up because they're starting right now in California, and the creators of the show did say it's gonna intertwine with different story arcs of Walking Dead. So I was talking to No Fear Beth a little bit about it. I think what they're going to do is I think they're going to make like a little special where the Fear the Walking Dead cast maybe either goes by the governor's sanctuary when he's there or the aftermath of everything. You know, same thing with the prison. Maybe they can have a quick scene where them walk into the prison and stuff. So because they said the stories are actually going to intertwine a little bit together. And the cool thing about the Fear the Walking Dead, they can do the stuff that happened before Rick's group got there or after, which is cool. And you could bring different characters back that we used to saw before. Like, what if the Fear the Walking Dead people met the governor before Rick's group did? And they kind of figured it out and they walked away.
Yet.
Yeah, and he wasn't necessarily like the big governor.
Like, and his
they see him
to become the governor.
Exactly. Because that was a very popular book that's out there. So maybe they can incorporate some of that to kind of boost up some stuff, you know, with the show to make it a little bit, you know, showing backstories of everything. People like that.
Too, yeah.
So
or just even scenes like because I know they said like Abraham and them started off in like Texas, so
yeah,
like if they start wandering east, like who knows? Like who knows? They're going for the water. I don't know where they're.
Yeah, and
goal.
Yeah, I mean, all the previews have been showing everybody in the water. I don't know how long it's gonna be. It could just be one episode they're in the fucking water. So who knows where they end up? But the show is kind of interesting. I think this season looks a lot better than the first season. I'm a big fan of the black dude that like knows everything's fucked up. Mm-hmm. I think he's pretty cool.
Yeah, the insurance guy.
Yeah, he's probably my favorite character other than like the Spanish dad that just like, you know, he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna just get shit done.
Yeah, the old man.
Yeah, so
he's a badass.
Very interesting. Everybody check that out. It's gonna be this Sunday. So, and then also too, there's gonna be a Talking Dead about that too. So maybe we'll learn a bit more about kind of how the story goes. But I'm just very interested to see where that story goes. To see some like stuff that happened in different places and different people and stuff. So it's kind of a whole new different style of it, which is crazy.
What if they somehow try and throw some Negan backstory into Fear the Walking Dead?
They can. Why not? Who knows where the guy came from? Yeah. I heard an interview with the director of Walking Dead. He knows the Negan story is going on right now, being written. And he's looking at it, how's this being written? All right, by Robert Kirkman. Mm-hmm. So, you know, they're tight, obviously, the guy that mostly does most of the direction on Walking Dead. And he said, like, he might want to incorporate some of this Negan backstory into the TV show for next season. So, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, like that Morgan episode.
Yeah, exactly. Which was a cool episode. I really liked that one. It was just different.
But I think it was necessary because it explains a lot about what Morgan's intentions were with the rest of that.
Yeah.
Because it obviously did help with the story because obviously now it's like all life is precious. And
I'm glad they kept him around. You know, in the comic book, he was like, he just showed up at Rick's group randomly, had sex with Michonne, and then he fucking got eaten by a walker. It's just like nothing. He just showed up and died.
A little bitch too.
I know exactly what the hell happened. He was scared, right? He was some scared guy.
Really scared, dude.
So it's kind of crazy how they mix up some characters and stuff with the show and everything. But that's cool. Like, I like how they do that.
Yeah, it's you know, them to do it a different way. It's like, hey, like, I know, like, they tossed around ideas, probably tons of ideas for all these different characters.
Yeah.
And they had to go with one. So this is their way of, like, hey, if we went this way, what could we have done?
So I like the part with the zombies attacking Alexandra. I thought that was really cool. It was actually almost exactly how the comic book was, where Rick brought out the girl with her son. Except in the comic book, Rick and that character, I don't remember her name right now.
I think it was still Jesse.
Jesse, yeah. They had like actual love affair. Like you see him get it on and stuff, so build a little bit more like tension. Like in the show, you even see him kiss at all.
Yeah. Well,
so
like one episode.
Yeah. Something like just one little kiss or whatever. Yeah. So when she died in the comic book, I thought it was a little bit more shocking. But in the show, it looked really cool too, especially with that kid.
It was just like just like in the comic book too.
Besides the kid shooting Carl's eye.
Yeah, that was the different part because obviously they have to change up some stuff because in the comics, Carl's still younger than he is in the show right now.
Yeah, that's true.
So
stays young. He's like Bart Simpson, bro.
But like, I mean, that's just one of the things you have to do with TV. I mean, they age.
Well, I was glad they did the eye thing though. I was waiting for that. I was like, Carl with the eye, that has to happen.
That was a cool, different way that they did that. I liked that instead of the Deanna character, like Bradley.
Yeah.
I think it was basically the Deanna replacement for the show. He just comes out, just like starts shooting the gun like crazy and hits Carl. But I liked the show way a little bit better. Yeah,
it was a bit more storytelling with that one, with Carl and his interaction with the older kid and stuff. And we see something like that kind of in the comic books now. So we're about to talk a little bit about what's going on in the Whispers saga of the Walking Dead comic book right now. So apparently, I think when we last left off, we told everybody about the Whispers and how they got their heads chopped off, and there's basically like a boundary. Yeah. And then at this time, basically what happened was Rick came back. He told the whole town, like, these fucking Whispers killed all your people. That's why they're not here. And everybody got pissed. Everybody was going crazy. They didn't trust Rick anymore. They want to go out there. But Rick was like, we can't attack them. I won't allow that. And then people just started getting mad at Rick because everybody wants revenge. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like a battle between one side and the other side. Right. You know? And then during this time, which is a really weird scene I want to talk to you about, is Dwight. So Dwight, at this time, he's like the leader or the supposed leader of the Saviors on their fucking badass factory.
He's basically keeping the Saviors
in check or whatever.
Yeah, basically.
But he's talking to this girl that I don't remember meeting. I think she's new.
Yeah.
And he's talking. He's talking like he doesn't want to be a leader. Like he's never wanted to be a leader. He doesn't want to do this anymore. I just want to leave. And he just leaves. But he takes Lucille with him. And they just leave, and they come back to Rick's group, and they just show up. And Rick doesn't even say anything like, why the fuck did you leave, anything. He just shows up, and, okay, you're here. You know, I thought that part was kind of funny. He just left. Like, what are they doing now, just hanging out? So, but there's a reason why, obviously, he come, and he brought Lucia. You could see it just reading the comic books, like, what the fuck's going to happen? So Rick's talking to everybody, and then he secretly wants to build an army, which I thought it was a great idea. I mean, that's what he wants to do. He wants to build everybody into it. He wants to have an army. He'll keep normal people doing normal things, but he wants to build an actual military force.
He's taking some hints from Negan.
Yeah, because he talked to him about it.
Yeah.
And he didn't about say it, but Negan was basically saying you gotta do shit to get shit done.
You gotta get these people. On your side. That's why that one scene where he's like, "Are you fucking stupid?" Blah blah, telling him stuff, and then like later on, Rick talks to the whole like town or whatever, and they start chanting his name, and then it goes down to Negan. He's got the
grin saying,
smile. He's like, "That's my boy."
Because Negan, even though he's stuck in the cage, he still has a big effect on Rick and Carl. Because Carl, at the beginning, we were talking about, he was talking a lot with Carl. Carl almost became friends with him, which is really crazy comparing what happens right now.
And then Carl's like, I'm still going to kill you.
Yeah, exactly. So and Negan's cool with it. He just doesn't give a fuck. He's like, whatever. So he's in the cage and everything. There was one scene, I don't know if we talked about it, with the cage was open. And Rick found out the cage is open. He was freaked out because we don't know how long this cage is actually open for. So Negan could have done something, you know. Mm-hmm. Rick goes there and Negan was there. And he wants to build trust with Rick. You know, but you don't know if he's lying or not because, like I told you guys at the beginning, Negan is the closest thing where you'll find to like a Joker character. Yeah. Like, he's very like sarcastic, but if you don't know what he's gonna do, like he can kill you at any moment if he wants to. So we don't see a lot of Alpha's group. The only thing we kind of see with Alpha was one of the guys tried to rape her, and then she killed him, like no problem. And it's a weird group basically. It's basically a group run by her. but everything's allowed. It's like everything that Negan is almost against and what Rick's are against is this group does. It seems like they just rape people because the daughter said she got
very primal.
A very primal group.
Primal.
The reason Rick's all scared of them and stuff is just because they have a fucking massacre amount of walkers to go attack, and it's hard to see them because they act as walkers themselves, and there's no info on them. So basically, that's why he's building an army to get his revenge back and also, take care of business. And they take Alpha's daughter has a love interest for Carl. Mm-hmm. So everybody at Alexander wanted to kill the girl or keep her up for ransom so they can get their revenge on Alpha. But
they knew that wasn't going to work.
Yeah, they knew it was going to work. So Carl and Maggie and all them bring her back, and she freaks out a little bit, but everything it was okay. So we get to the part where this guy, the kid named Brandon. Mm-hmm. All right, basically what happened with the kid Brandon, he's a new character. Alpha was his dad was one of the people Alpha killed and put on the stake. His mom, yeah. His mom was one of the people that Alpha killed and put on the stake. Mm-hmm. And he found out about it and he was pissed. And
the dad attacked Rick.
Yeah, and the dad attacked Rick because the dad didn't know that Rick was secretly, because like I told you, Rick is secretly building a military, but he wanted everybody saying we're not doing anything. That's what he told people at first. Yeah. So Rick attacked the dad. He just beat the shit out of him. They were beating the shit out of each other. Like I was like, damn, I don't think Rick.
That's when he took the
chunk
out of his neck and.
Yeah, like that one scene we saw a couple seasons ago where Rick took the chunk out of that guy that was holding up Daryl. Mm-hmm. It's almost exactly like that, just on the floor. Yeah. And at the time, like we were saying before, this Rick in this comic book, he just looks so beat up. I mean, this guy looks like he could croak at any second, but he keeps beating ass, so no problem. So he's talking to people with the blood all over him, telling us what happened. And basically what they're doing is there's different scouts. Like Dwight's ahead of one scout and Michonne, I think, is ahead of another one. They're just teaching people to sneak around walkers and stuff. And there's this one group kind of talking like, oh, why are we doing this? These aren't our people anymore. And then
those were the people that they haven't shown since the 2-year jump after all the war.
Yeah, because those two people.
Wanda, I think is their name in one of the.
Yeah, something like that. In the group. They just showed up for a second, kidnapped somebody, and then they got talking. They're okay.
And then the only other time I remember them being in was when Negan was trying to pretend like he was being tortured and stuff. And
yeah.
They're like, no, you're clean and you have your hair.
That was pretty funny scene. So they saw right through him right away.
They're not stupid people, so
exactly.
I kind of like them, but then it was nice to finally see them because I was gonna say like they haven't shown it. It was like 127 when they first showed up.
Yeah.
Then they showed up like two issues again later, and that's when the Negan part was. And they haven't been heard of or anything since. Yeah, so now we know they're just training with Dwight, and they're having conflict about it. So that's what their duty is. And then a very interesting scene that came in this issue was Dwight talking about why he carries around Lucille. Mm-hmm. And because the girl's like, why do you carry that around? The Saviors look at that like has some sort of like fucking King Scepter.
Yeah, King Scepter or whatever. And that's why he kind of took it with him, because he doesn't want anybody to take it and make it look like it's some special thing. He wants to build. Lucille has like more of a protection thing, more than just like a fear.
Oppression, yeah.
Yeah. Which basically means Negan's going to take that somehow. That's all I got out of that scene.
He's going to want his bat back.
Yeah. So the big thing is Negan's out of the cell because of the kid Brandon. Because Brandon went up to Rick and basically hates Rick. He hates both Rick and he both hates the Whispers at the same time. So I guess, does everybody in town know that Negan's there?
Yeah, everyone knows that
Negan's there. Okay.
I mean, they were all involved in that war somehow.
Yeah.
And then the new people that came in, they met him like this 2 issues in. So yeah, I think they're all very aware that he's there, but obviously, a lot of them are still taking Negan for granted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially Brandon.
Yeah, exactly. Especially him. So we'll get into that. So Brandon goes down to Negan's cell. It's basically like, I need to get you out of here. I need your help. We can escape right now. What I need for you to do is come with me. We're going to go talk to these Whispers, and we're going to tell them what Rick's planning so they can get the jump start on him. And Negan's just like, who the fuck are you, kid? Basically. And he's like, I'm blah, blah, blah this and blah, blah, blah. They killed my parents and everything. And Negan's like, all right, just help me escape and we'll figure something out, kid. So they escape and everything, and basically they escape because Maggie is going back to the hilltop to go manage things.
With a bunch of people.
Because
the fair is technically, I guess, over in there. All the people are going back.
Exactly. So she's going to go manage that place and stuff. And if you don't know this, like we said, if you guys don't know any of this stuff, this is what's happening right now. We're talking about the Whisper Saga. I'm not talking about the season 7, what's coming up. This is afterwards about everything that happened in, The Walking Dead.
This could be season 10.
Season 11 probably, the way this show goes. I don't know. But she's going back to do her business or whatever, probably train some more military people. And Brandon was with them, but he keeps going off track and stuff. And I think it's really funny where Negan's just like, what the fuck you doing, kid? You annoy me.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to kill you. It's basically just telling him to his face, like, you suck, kid.
And the part I did like is he got Negan's jacket.
Yeah, he got Negan's jacket back to him and his knife and, like, basically all his clothes.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I felt naked without this.
So now Negan's looking like Negan again.
Yeah, fully equipped. Haircut and everything.
Yeah.
So they're walking along the path and everything, and this is towards the end of the comic book. Oh, yeah, and at this time, too, Rick and Michonne, and who's a guy and some new character that's with Michonne, they know Negan has escaped. So they sent a search party out there to find him. And Aaron. Okay, so Aaron and Michonne are going tracking Negan down by foot, and they found a couple leads because they found some tracks off course. So they're on his tail. So basically what we see is Negan talking to the kid, and the kid's like crying. He's just like, I hate the fucking Whispers for killing my mom. I hate Rick and everything. I just want them both to die. And everything. And then Negan's like, oh, is this your plan? He's like, yes, that's my plan. I'm gonna get the Whispers and Negan to kill each other because I hate both of them. And he's like, okay, that's your plan. And then he fucking takes his knife and stabs the motherfucker, and he's just like, that's not my plan.
That was your plan.
That was your plan. And then boom, he dies, and then you see Negan walk past the line going into where the Whispers are.
Whispers perimeter.
So we're gonna talk a little theory right here. All right. So there's a theory kind of going out there that Alpha and Negan have met before. All right. And one of the theories is Alpha could be maybe a past life Negan's lover. All right, and they can have they can have a daughter, which was that girl. It's possible. And the what happens is when I think, because Negan says one time he has a scar on his belly, and he says like somebody asked him about a scar or whatever or something. He's like, I'll tell you this story one day about this scar. So people are kind of putting together, maybe Alpha is the one. They were like kind of rolling together. You know what I mean? Like ruling together for a little bit. But, Negan, he's very into his new world order. As in, like, he has to do it his way. There's no rape. There's no, fucking with the chicks. You just give me your shit or you give me your wives. I want a lot of... He's like the king. He wants to be like a king. But maybe the Whisper Girl, she didn't agree with that. Like, she doesn't care. She's just so fucked that she doesn't care about people. She wants to be more like a primal person. Mm-hmm. So maybe they split off. Because to me, it's just so weird. Because they're still in the same area where Negan ruled for so long. And the Whispers... they have a big camp.
Yeah.
So I don't get how Negan couldn't have an interaction with her. Right. It's not like Rick went like fucking 18,000 miles to go see all those fucking walkers. He didn't walk that long, So unless she just randomly just showed up somehow, which she could have happened in 2 years or whatever. I guess that is a long time to just show up. But
when they did first encounter the Whispers, when they didn't have any idea what the hell they were, they were kind of just like migrating. Yeah. So they could have been migrating for a while.
But it's a long migrating to get all those walkers in that little area. Because that's their thing.
Like, they say they have some people still among all the walkers just to keep them like calm and keep them in the same area or whatever. But
they could be roamers.
Who knows how much they were directing the herd or just going with the herd? So they could just be roaming from place to place just because that's where the herd was going.
So what do you think the dialogue's going to be like when Negan meets this Alpha? Because that's coming up really soon, probably in the next issue probably. And it's just going to be very interesting to see if they actually knew each other or not.
I know, that's the one thing
because I think,
cause like Rick, I mean, for everything that has happened, I mean, Rick still did not kill Negan and
Yeah.
stuff.
So he might be on
there
his side.
might be some kind of respect for Rick now.
Yeah, and Negan did say that when he was in the cell and stuff. Like, hey, I did look at this. I'm showing myself as a new guy. I didn't escape. I didn't kill your people. I'm in the cell.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe he had to get out of the cell to hype up the Whisperers or pretend he's on their side to help out Rick's group because he knows Rick's group can't handle it, but he can handle it because he's very good at manipulating people. He's really good about doing that. So,
But I also see him as being one of the like I have to be the biggest badass.
yeah.
So he might just like show like he might see the Whisperers as bigger than him, bigger than his group, more powerful than his group ever was. So he might just
Had to take them down to get his name still out
take
there.
them down a peg to make Negan.
You think he's gonna fight Rick again? Seems to be
Probably.
pretty easy right now with Rick. He's all busted
Yeah.
up and shit.
But that's why I think it's gonna be Carl,
Yeah,
because Carl keeps saying I'm gonna kill you. Kept telling him I'm gonna kill you at some point.
yeah.
So
But you think Carl will kill him if Negan's daughter is the one he's fucking?
see, that makes it a good.
Yeah, so that's what I think it'd be. I think he would, because Carl, to me, because you know the Robert Kirkman, he always does little hints and shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And Carl, he was getting along with Negan so much. You know what I mean? Like he didn't even say he was dad, but he was still getting along with them. What if he had that same connection, like father, like daughter? He just had that same connection with her. You know what I mean? And what if he finds out, like, oh, this is your dad and stuff? Like, I think he would think twice about doing that killing thing again. That's just one of my theories, but
Yeah, that would.
because it kind of makes more into that story.
Yeah, that would make for a good story.
Yeah. So there's also another thing out there. I don't know if you played this game. It's Michonne and her story on the boat when she was out in sea for a while. After the whole attack of the war, I guess happened, she went on a boat. She basically disappeared.
Yeah.
Because the reason she disappeared, for guys, we're just going to tell them, is that they were doing a fighting thing, and then a lot of people died, right? And then she just kind of went away. That's kind of remember it.
Her and Ezekiel broke up. Or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, and they broke
so
up
it was just
kind of
like
after that.
activity around them and
Yeah, she just kind of
did
left.
a girl thing.
Yeah. So she's on a boat stuff. So this telltale, you know those telltale games? I can't say it, of The Walking Dead. They have one out there in a show right now that shows her place out there in the water, and she meets different groups out there. So it's very interesting. Guys, check it out. You can get it on PlayStation 4 and stuff. Let's see. I think we might have covered everything. So yeah, can't wait for season 7. I know everybody's really looking forward to who finally got the bat. Our theories is I'm gonna have to go with Glenn. Are you gonna go with Glenn?
I have to go with Glenn.
Yeah. So we changed our theories again. I changed mine. I thought that was gonna be Daryl for sure, but I'm skeptical now.
For a second there, it really looked like it was gonna be Daryl, just because when the episode before that, when he got popped in the
exactly
popped in the shoulder.
And that's one thing too, man. This guy's popped in his shoulder. He's probably losing a bunch of blood. He seems to be fine.
Yeah, right.
Come on,
He's
man.
Daryl, man.
You can just handle it.
Daryl. That's why, at the end of that, like, I think it too, like, a lot of people aren't really aware, but they're gonna have to learn to like Dwight somehow.
Yeah, yeah.
He's sticking around.
Yeah. By the way, yeah. You guys,
Like,
well, they will learn to like him once they see the scene with the iron. They'll be like, okay, I get it. And when Negan takes the wife. I mean, we can go on to all this stuff that Negan does. It's crazy. That's why I think season 7 and 8 are going to be like intense. If they do things that they did in the comic books, like almost exactly, the shit gets intense.
Negan's pretty bad.
And I can't wait to see Negan's hideout, which is awesome, and also to his horde of honeys, which was a great scene too. Yeah. So definitely check that out.
Hopefully that'll be a scene they make better for DVD as well.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, baby. All right, everybody. This has been the Walker Report. We gave you guys all types of information. Everybody check out our other shows here on the Killer Instant Podcast. We got Cody Walker on the official Short Bus Army.
Yeah.
Give us a little preview of what you guys will be talking about next. I just released number 4. So what's number 5 and all of them going to look like?
Number 5, I think we're talking about Deadpool and
nice
stuff like that. Then number 6 is going to be a pretty long one. We might have to split that into 2-parter.
2-part craziness.
And then the 7 ones, I think, just as long. But yeah, we get into a lot of stuff.
This is a lot of conversations about a lot of crazy things.
About a lot of some controversial topics mostly.
That's the way to do it.
Try not to get too controversial.
Exactly.
But
There is a limit.
there's even a limit to what I'll listen to myself.
Yeah. And also, too, Road to Success. You got any of those coming out?
We a couple of the buddies I was doing with that. I mean, they're doing that, trying to get their lives together.
Yeah, I hear you.
Dude, there's some shit.
Hey, that's why it's called Road to Success.
You're right. My buddy is his car started on fire and shit.
Damn.
So he's been working on that.
So that's gonna be a little hiatus for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's just us.
And pretty soon, I think you're gonna do another show doing comic talk. So whenever you get that on, we gotta go on there. I already want to do 2 of them about Daredevil and Jason Todd.
And because that new one shot about with the Dark Knight Returns about Jason Todd is supposed to come out the 20th.
Oh, for real? Nice. I finally got the Arkham Knight Genesis book, so we'll be talking about that pretty soon. That's actually one of my. I like how they mix the comic book with the game, so I'm a big fan of that. So we'll probably be talking about that pretty soon. I'll probably be going on there. And everybody, check out my another show's coming up, The Faces of Fear. Where we're gonna be reviewing the Guyver from the 1990s with Mark Hamill. Speaking of Star Wars, speaking of Star Wars stuff, did you get to see that Rogue One trailer?
Oh no, I didn't even know they had a trailer yet.
Yeah, they have a trailer right now. It looks awesome. Like it's different. It looks like a dark version of Star Wars. It's pretty wild. So definitely everybody check that out. They got that Rogue One trailer up right now. And also this month we're gonna do 2. Since we didn't do a lot of Faces of Fear last month because I was injured, we're gonna do 2 more. We're gonna do Land of the Dead and Day of the Dead. We're gonna review those movies.
Which of the dead is the better dead?
Which one? Land?
Which of the dead is the better?
Yeah, so which dead is better? They're both the same director, but different time periods.
Yeah.
So we'll get a little bit of that in. And also, too, I got up right now, the Killer Instinct flagship show where I talk about my injury. And just to let you guys know why I was out for a little while. And I also go over my whole WrestleMania weekend experience, which started on Thursday all the way up until Monday. So a lot of crazy stories there.
Yeah, apparently Shaq showed up.
Yeah, Shaq was out there too. That was pretty wild. He just came randomly, and I was like, what the fuck? And I was way up there too to see it. So this is crazy because he's like, not even like 2 days afterwards, he goes into the NBA Hall of Fame. So
Yeah.
hey, you got to get him early. So why not?
He's on the ballot, but he'll probably be in there.
Yeah, he'll probably get there.
He'll probably be a first ballot. I mean, he's gonna make the Hall of Fame, but he'll probably be a first ballot.
Yeah, and I talk about some new shows coming up, and also too, we hear a little bit from Doc from Z Nation. Quick little interview with him. We actually get to find out whose idea it was to create the Z weed. If you guys ever seen Z Nation, it's an awesome show. But this has been the Walker Report. We'll probably come back after season 2 of Fear the Walking Dead.
Sounds good.
Talk a little bit more about Walking Dead. We'll probably talk the whole season of Fear the Walking Dead 2. And at this time, the backstory of Negan will be out too. So we'll talk both of that. And then if anything news comes from the Walking Dead season 7, we'll talk that too. So
And of course, we'll have some updated comics.
Oh yeah. Definitely gonna have an update of comic books because this is going really quick right now.
Some event is coming.
Yes, and also too, if something really really big happens in the comic that's like shock, we'll get back on here on the pad and just talk about that because anybody, like I said before, if you're scared to go to the comics, don't. It's actually very exciting.
Yeah.
It's not like a kid little comic books where your little baby kids read the little fucking quarter Superman comics. It's not like that at all. It's actually a real interesting story.
And just for the record, most comics out right now are very adult
themed. Yeah, a lot of them. They could do actually even more than a TV show. It's kind of like watching an HBO version of The Walking Dead.
Yeah, they basically have a kids section at some of the local comic book shops. But for the most part, all the comics that come out are fucking adult themed.
Exactly.
Intense.
So everybody, also to check out, I'm gonna put up there pretty soon if I can get the audio correct. I'm going to put up on our YouTube page, YouTube/MSK Sketch Comedy. I'm going to do a whole Q&A with Eugene and Abraham, where things get a little wild. So it should be fun. Anyway, for Cody, the True Walker, and me, J.K. Klein, we're checking out. See you later, everybody.
Peace out.
Buddy.
Peace out.
Buddy.
Peace out.
Buddy. buddy.
Peace out.